Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. Should we get started? It's already 5 p.m. Indian time. What do you
Yes,
say,
we
my
can.
fellow panelists?
Yes, I think
Should we
should
get started?
We can start. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So hello everyone. Welcome to today's session on unlocking potential through coaching. And my name is Malika, and I am welcoming you on behalf of Coachezzy today. Before we get started with this really interesting discussion, I had a quick question for everyone who's joining us today. How many of you have experienced coaching? Maybe you may want to give us some reactions, a thumbs up, thumbs down, sad face if you haven't experienced coaching till now. Can I get some reactions from everyone who's joining us today? Okay, I see some thumbs up there. Okay, looks like quite a few of you have experienced coaching. I'm sure if you have or have not, you'll still have quite a bit to take away from today's session and the discussion that we are about to have. So through our discussion, what we will do is we will explore the benefits and applications of coaching and how anyone can really use it as a tool for growth. So quick introductions before we get on to the topic. I, like my other panelists today, I'm a coach with Coachezzy. I have about 2 decades of experience working in the field of sales, marketing, leadership development across various industries. As a coach, I'm here to help people develop a mindset that is most needed in today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, so that they can really have a more fulfilling life. And all my other fellow panelists today are experienced professionals. They are from various fields like finance, sales, HR, and they reside in different countries. But we all come together with a common passion, which is of helping individuals unlock their full potential through coaching. So I'm going to welcome all my fellow participants, and I'm going to invite the panelists to introduce themselves. We will start with Sharmi, who is our mentor. Sharmi, over to you.
Hi, Malika. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing this together. I have after about 3 decades in the corporate, working as a leadership development consultant, also as a coach within the organization, I stepped out on my own to start on my independent journey as a coach. And as a coach, I really feel that I read fictions through my clients, and I really enjoy that. I cannot think of doing anything other than coaching or coach education. So thank you, Malika. You're on mute.
Sorry. Raman, Venkatesh, Mansi, my fellow panelists today. May I invite you to introduce yourselves?
Hi, everyone. My name is Raman. Thank you, Malika, for your nice introduction to the whole event. To introduce myself, I'm based in Dubai, UAE, and I'm basically a chartered accountant, cost and works accountant with nearly 4 decades of senior management experience in different facets of finance, management, and advisory. For the past 15 years, I've been strategic advisor to groups, big, large, and medium-sized groups, which are international more often than not, being in Dubai. I've been a consultant, trainer, mentor of leaders for a long time. For the past 1 year, I got a new phase of my professional career, I would say, when I entered coaching line. And with a lot of passion and enthusiasm, I've been acquiring these skills in the past 1 year. And I feel I'm a full-fledged coach today, which made me a different kind of professional in the same line of strategic advisory. Here I am waiting to share some of my thoughts with my fellow coaches. Thank you very much. Looking forward to an interesting evening.
Thank you, Raman.
Hello, everyone.
Mansi, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mansi Datta, working from Bangalore, India. Even before I get into my professional journey, let me introduce myself as a coach. I think I would love to position myself as a trustworthy person who can create a psychologically safe environment for my client or coachee, so that through meaningful discussions, I'm able to guide these conversations whereby the coachee gets to discover his or her true potential and develop a growth mindset. So that is what I work towards. And yes, professionally have been in the HR space. I'm a HR subject matter expert, especially in the talent development space, and have worked across different industries, namely manufacturing, IT, telecom. And yes, my curiosity and eagerness to be with people helps me to also position myself as a coach, and I'm on that journey. Looking forward to a very exciting discussion as we move forward. Over to you, Venkatesh.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Malika. And I'm Venki. For the first of all, professionally, 2.5 decades in enterprise sales. I've been a corporate citizen for quite some time. Originally hailed from Hyderabad, but settled in Singapore. Last 20 years, I've been located in Singapore. Throughout my career, I've done enterprise sales, stressful jobs, and then targets, ups and downs. I've seen that, and then managed large teams across Asia Pacific. And happiness and health are two priorities for me in life. I've been blessed with a lovely 14-year-old daughter right now, and 2 fur babies. And I keep my wife happy because, as I said, happiness is the most priority for me. Happy wife, happy life. So there's 2 priorities. And other than that, actually, I love music. I love travel and long drives, as well as anything humor. So this coaching is actually, I was coaching illiterate until the recent past. Once I started getting into this journey, I'm slowly transitioning into, I can never say that I transitioned. It's a lifelong journey, I know for sure. I'm slowly transitioning into a more empathetic human with composure, as well as clarity of thought. I really attribute a lot of change that in me to coaching. I'm looking forward to this wonderful session along with the panel members today.
Thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you, Mansi, Sharmi, Raman, for those lovely introductions. I have another quick question for the participants who are joining us today before we get into the discussion. What comes to your mind when you think of coaching? If you could put it in one word, we'd love to hear from you in the chat, please. One word that comes to your mind when you think of coaching. Can you share? Please feel free to share in your trust. I see Uma saying trust. Anyone else? Any other thoughts that comes to your mind? Give me one word that comes to your mind. Oh, yes. And also please share where you're joining us from. That'll be great. Anything else that comes to your mind? Partnership. Thank you, Shampa. We will, you can unmute and also call it out if you'd like. You can unmute yourself and call it out. Growth. Thank you, Caroline, for that. Thank you. Anything else? We'll take another quick 2-3 seconds to see if you have any other thoughts. Partnership, growth, trust is what I hear. Okay. While you're thinking about that, I'm going to invite the expert to talk a little about what coaching means to her. So, Sharmi, this is to you. What does coaching mean to you?
For me, coaching means life. For me, coaching means the transformation. Uh, and yeah, I think transformation and all of this, it's partnership, it's growth, it's trust, it's so many more. And for me, it's transformation, true transformation, lasting transformation. So
Thank you. I see
I want to ask
co-creating
you all a
solutions.
question. Since you asked me, I want to ask all of you a question. So, how has coaching helped you in your personal and professional journey? Ben says co-creating solutions. Yes, thank you, Brett. So the
Um,
question to all of you, to Malika, how has coaching helped you in your personal and professional journey?
Thank you. Thank you, Sharmi, for that. Uh, I think, like they say, that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at also changes, right? I think that was my biggest takeaway from coaching. Like I thought I discovered a superpower, which was of about self-awareness, of being able to look inwards and be able to get my answers. And it completely changed my perspective towards life. In the personal space, I think I was able to enhance my relationships with everyone. My husband complains that we don't fight these days too much. So I know I've become more acceptable of people, and I think I've become more acceptable of myself as well. So I do spend a lot of time in self-love, care, my overall well-being. In the professional space, I think I feel much more confident. I'm able to overcome a lot of limiting beliefs and behaviors that I had initially. I have started focusing more on the learning rather than the outcomes, and this has really enabled me to increase my remit of work. I have got larger responsibilities, and now I'm also self-coaching myself on how to draw boundaries so that I don't get too overworked. But yes, it has been an incredible journey for me.
So who wants to go next? The questions remains the same.
Okay, maybe
Okay.
I'll go next, Sharmi.
Mansi,
So
your sound is coming a little bit low. Yeah.
hope this is better.
Right.
Okay, so first thing, I think when I embarked on this journey of coaching, the best thing that could happen to me personally was self-coaching. I realized there were a lot of blind spots that I had, which I was not aware of, or maybe feedback was given, and I was not very, very attentive to them. But when I really implemented coaching on myself, I think I'm a much better person today, and I'm still in that journey. So that's the first change. Um, Personally, if I look at, I have a teenager daughter. Uh, Earlier, if I look back, at times it used to be in a conversation. I'm trying to tell her something, and she tries to put her viewpoint, and quite often it just used to land up in a roadblock. The discussion doesn't progress. She's not happy. I'm not happy. These days, when I think it's now become pretty inherent in me that without her even understanding, I'm wearing my coaching hat, and the discussions are much more productive. Where, if I'm trying to trying to say a no to something she's wanting, we get into a more, meaningful conversation, and end of it, it's a win-win. I give in to some extent, she gives in to some extent. So I think that's a big change. And it's really helped us, develop this relationship of mother-daughter much better. On a personal front, I take a small incident. It happened this week itself. One of my team member, she just came and told me, I'm in a people management role. So she just came and told me that, Mansi, I want to talk to you. Can I have a few minutes? And she tells me, I'm feeling very low, full stop. Earlier on, maybe I would have heard her for 2 minutes, and then maybe I would have put on my thoughts into her mouth that, are you feeling unwell? Is something bothering you on work front? Is there some conflict? Is it like, you are overwhelmed with work? All those thoughts would be racing in my mind, and I would be trying to kind of, solution it. I didn't do that. I patiently, just allowed her to speak. She was speaking for 10 minutes. And then through some powerful questions, she herself came back with why she was feeling low. And she was also committed to try out a few things which would help her bring back to her normal self. So I think that's the power of coaching I have seen both in my personal and professional front.
Thank you.
That's a nice way of putting it,
Thank you.
Mansi. Thank you, Sharmi, for raising this question, because I was waiting for this question from somebody or the other all along. It's good that you raised this question, because it really makes me feel, after you asked the question, I was just trying to recollect. Oh, yes. Personally, I would say that, I'm able to interact with people around me in a much better fashion, close kith and kin. I'm able to listen to them more. I'm able to be more empathetic. Not that I was not empathetic before, but I'm consciously, it has drilled down in my system. I'll just give you a small, story to pinpoint this changing phenomenon in me. I was just, some weeks ago, I was just passing, to my building where we stay. There are about 60 apartments in that tower. So I used to wish the security who was standing down, and he was always wearing smiling face all along for 6 months, 8 months. Suddenly, for 1 week, I found him that the guy stopped smiling, for 1 week, and I noticed it, every day. After a week, I asked him, what's bothering you? At first, he didn't come out, but then here is where the coaching mindset, coaching skills came into the play. I made him feel so comfortable. I made him feel so much, trusting in me, the way I was approaching him with genuine empathy. He opened up, and he shared with me the problems he had back home. He's from Kenya. He's working in Dubai as a security, and his mother is sick for a long time. He's the only son, and he started, telling me one after the other for 15 minutes. I was patiently listening to him, and then I adopted a coaching conversation with him, and then I gave him some tips. After 1 week, second sitting, after 2 weeks, third sitting, he was flabbergasted. He was lost for words. He said, "You are the only person in this entire tower who stands in front of me, gives valuable time for me, and listens to my problem." He got relieved. After that, he started smiling better than before. His problems didn't subside, but at least I made him aware what is the how he should handle that from his mouth. This is where coaching became very powerful for me when I'm dealing with people around me. So that is just a story I wanted to share with you. Professionally, I've been, after being group CFO of a big group for some time, I became a consultant, advisor, and mentor for business leaders. More often than not, I find I'm always in a situation where business leaders, senior managers, they have some personal issues or the other, which is hindering their performance, in the jobs. So I felt a gap in my contribution, in my value addition. After becoming a coach, now I found that what was missing in me in providing that total solutions to the clients. Now I'm able to coach them properly so that they are back on track even in their performance, and enable them to find solutions for themselves. It has added a new dimension to my value addition, I would say. So I think it's increased the value of my professional engagement with my clients. And so personally and professionally, I can go on talking for another 1 hour, but I don't want to steal the time of my other, established, kind of other participants and my co-panelists.
Sure. Thank you, Raman. Thank you. I mean, that was a great story for sharing. Venkatesh?
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, Raman, for even Mansi and Malika for such a lovely stories. I think people who know me would be definitely surprised that Venki going last in answering anything is the biggest. That's the biggest change fundamentally, because this is not the case earlier. There are many. Sharmi, there's a very not fair to ask us to pick one impact, but there are a lot of changes it actually made in personally in all of us. In my personal opinion, the biggest takeaway that coaching created in me is I started realizing why humans have 2 ears and only one mouth. That's the biggest impact, because earlier I never used to listen to others completely. I used to cut them off and then give my opinion or prescribe something. Suddenly the prescriber comes into picture and then starts telling people what to do. That's how I have been. If I were to compare my interpersonal communication earlier, I used to be like something like it was like something like driving a speed motorboat on a rough water, wavy water. So up and down, jumping and then falling off, those kind of risky kind of conversations, arguments. Now I feel that I'm captaining a cruise, large cruise ship, irrespective of the type of water, waves, irrespective of if it is even if it's icy terrain, doesn't matter. I have that kind of equilibrium or a sense of kind of a calmness in me, because the main reason is I started listening to people first. Okay, that's the biggest impact that created in me. Professionally, I've been in sales, as I said, always in the fast moving and the high stress job. There's no room for waiting and then listening and discussing. I think it's kind of a stress we go through. Everything, like I've been like a task manager, so always somebody talks about it, my team members bring anything, quickly prescribing something, do this, do that. That's how I've been used to it, and then my nature is also like that. And now converting those conversations into a more one-on-ones, into a coaching conversations, I started first time hearing some creative ideas from the team, and it really started opening up so many ideas in me as well. I never used to listen to people. That was the biggest thing. Now this is I slowly transitioned into a more good listener now. That's one. And other thing also professionally, what it helped is, I think, always like Mark Twain said, right? I apologize for writing such a long letter. I didn't have time to write a shorter one, right? This is exactly what also started actually impacting me in my writing emails as well. I've been very short and concise. I used to write big emails. How I used to talk more. This is also another impact that actually it caused. On a personal front, I think I generally, when we meet friends for drinks or any social gathering, even though I hold a soft drink, I would be the person who talked the most compared to the ones who are holding the alcohol in their hand. But that's how I have been. But of late, I started enjoying their conversation. And one of the occasions, one of my close friends came to me and put his hand on me and started asking Venki secretly, "Is everything okay?" And then I said, "Yeah, everything okay. No, I think something is bothering you. Just trust that I'm here. Anything you want to share anytime, not now, later also, please let me know. I never saw you like that. You've been very quiet. Something is bothering you." Though he said that, though I was actually internally enjoying that. Okay, I was enjoying the conversations, but substantially people could started seeing some kind of a change in me. Even at home also, my wife recently said, "There's no one to cut me off in the home when I talk, when I say something. You never used to listen. You used to always cut me off. Now I'm feeling bored." I think though you're looking a little cute now, but you're a quiet person. But I'm really feeling it very boring talking to you. Just be the old one. So these are a lot of changes in impacting me, Sharmi. Definitely, all I attribute it to listening more and more rather than talking. Of course, coaching always it actually prescribes that a coach should talk the less and allow the coachee to talk, and then give that space for the coachee to even express and then all ideas and then share. So I think this is one of the biggest takeaways. Actually, I would say.
Thank you so much. Thank you all of for sharing such beautiful stories. Malika, I hand it over back to you. Sorry for snatching your role for some time. Over to you.
No, thank you, Sharmi. That was a very, like Raman said, that I think all of us were waiting for this opportunity for us to be on spotlight and someone asking us that question. So thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you, Mansi, Venkatesh, Raman. I think such beautiful stories. Thank you for being so candid. Um, I have a few questions, and like we promised, we are going to discuss more about how coaching really helps. And my first question is more to, I'll ask my first question to Mansi. So Mansi, what challenges have you faced in adopting a coaching mindset when you started? What were those?
That's a very powerful question, Malika, and quite a few challenges, I would say. It's a journey. Can't be looked at, really we cannot look at it as a destination, because I think I'm still on that journey exploring. To start with, I will not repeat because Venkatesh was saying, I think the biggest challenge, at least for me, again, has been listening. Uh, and I will just add on a couple of other things here, because maybe I realized the golden rule of 80-20, which is very easily said, but very difficult to implement. That 20% of the time you should only be talking, on 80% you should listen. And when I say listening, I like to add on another thing to on what Venkat mentioned just some time back. It is not only about listening through your ears, empathizing with, what the person is talking about, the topic. It is also to observe the person while he or she is narrating something to you. The pauses, the expressions the person brings, the body language. I think there is a lot of story that comes along with what is being said, plus the expressions the person brings forward. So that was the first big obstacle. It is a skill that we need to develop as a coach. Next, I would also touch upon, to bring in a right coaching mindset. Uh, a, doesn't matter, even if I come from a HR field, but I realized there is a lot of unlearning that you must be ready with. We come with a lot of, assumptions, perceptions, our own blind spots. So quite often when you are hearing out someone, you are tempted to go start clouding your mind, and you are tempted to give a solution from your perspective. That is not a coaching mindset. When you have to build up a coaching mindset, you must realize that the coachee is in the driver's seat. It is not a parent child relationship. We are at the same level, exploring things together. And that again needs a huge mindset shift, especially if you've been a trainer, a consultant, a mentor. Very often you will just go quickly, you feel like getting back into that hat. And you literally have to shift your mindset. It takes practice, it takes time, and you have to be mindful about it. Uh, Maybe the other thing also I feel is that, and this is my experience of, being with some other coaches. Quite often, the coach comes with a mindset to handle the problem statement. So, for example, someone is speaking about time management, which is a very kind of a lot to do with prioritization in that person's life, both personal and professional. I have seen coaches quickly trying to kind of, bring you to a point, and make you start talking about priority to solve the time management issue. But somewhere it is important to understand who is that person who is facing that time management issue. What are his priorities in life? Only then he will be committed to a change and kind of try to work towards a journey where he will be better able to manage his time and prioritize. Because you need to align those priorities with the person who is there in front of you, not only focus on the problem statement he's talking about. There is a lot of layers that are there beneath the immediate problem statement he's bringing in. Maybe that is again a big shift of mindset needed for a coach. But I take a pause here. These were from my personal experience. Anybody else, if they would like to share something from their own experience?
Thank you, Mansi. A lot of it resonates so strongly. Anyone else would like to chime in here?
Maybe.
Any questions
Yeah,
from the
Malika,
audience?
I would like to add a little bit to what Mansi has elaborately explained. Specific to me, a person like me who started as a group CFO and then became a consultant. As a consultant, I was expected to provide solutions. I was paid to speak more. Not that I was not listening or something, but I used to tell, mentorship. Very senior people used to mentor. I used to tell them for 45 minutes. I used to speak continuously, and I was paid for that. I was paid for giving solutions. I was paid for being direct. This is what was expected of me. So it became my second nature for more than 1.5 decades, I would say. Now to come to coaching and to wear coach's hat, and I can't be direct. I can't be talking for 80% of the time. It is the other way around. So it was a very interesting challenge I had, because I felt there is a need for me to be a coach for the benefit of they do not know much about it, but I'm supposed to have all the ammunitions in my in my reservoir. So so that was the only challenge I had. But then by looking at other great coaches like Shermi, and learning quite a lot from others, I could successfully switch gear into coaching mindset. Not telling anything directly, allowing the client to choose their solutions. I'm not going to give solutions. I face this challenge all the more when the client is talking about a business related subject matter. So where, I can easily give a solution, but then I have to resist myself. So this is what I learned.
Thank you, Raman. And I know Raman earlier was talking about this beautiful story about how he really interacted with a watchman in your in your society, right, Raman? And that brings me to a question. Maybe this one is to you, Venkatesh. How do you think coaches are making a difference to the society?
Yeah, thank you, Malik. I think before I just answer this, I would like to just add to what Mansi said earlier. I remember the conversation I had with Sharmi. I asked one day, is it okay if there's a virtual session with a coachee, if the coachee is not comfortable turning on the video? And she didn't answer yes or no. She said, Venki, a coach hears more than what is told. A coach sees what is more than seen on the camera. So what do you think? So that answered the question, because Mansi said, the coach not only listens, the presence and the empathetic, and then understands the coach's mindset. I think definitely a coach mindset, I think something Mansi touched upon good points. Thank you, Mansi, for that. Coming back to your question, Malika, how coaches are creating the impact on the society. Just before that, I want to highlight that there is a need for why there is a need for more coaches in this world. Okay, I would like to answer that first. So if you really look at the demand and supply from more of an economics perspective, there are hardly 100,000 certified coaches. There are many coaches in the market for sure, but certified, accredited coaches are 100,000 plus only. Of that, majority, more than half of them are freelancers, are having their own coaching business. The remaining only half, 50,000 plus certified coaches, are working in the corporates. That's one side. Okay. Whereas if you look at the real the enterprises, mid to large size enterprises in the world, take say large enterprise close to, let's say 400,000 large enterprises in the world. Even if you add some sizable mid-tier size companies, say conservatively, if you take 1 million size kind of a number of companies having at least say 10 managers, there are at least 10 million managers are on one side, whereas 50,000 trained coaches on the other side. So that is that there's a huge demand for the certified coaches in the corporates. Okay, only I'm talking from a corporate perspective. Beyond corporates, there's a lot of need in the society. We'll come to that. Okay, so the only a small segment of corporate itself has a huge potential, right? So now, why there is a need for coaches in the market is basically, I'll just share my personal experience. In 27 years in sales, I actually had my peak performance for 4 years consecutively, year on year, in the entire tenure. But remaining years, ups and downs, typical any sales life, right? So that 4 years were very consistent, above plan, and the entire team actually hit the numbers. The reason why I when I look back later years, and then when I really reflect, what actually was the difference is the leader, the manager was so different that entire teams, all regions, sub-regions, all performed. Just one single person could create such a big impact in a large organization, which even in 27 years, it didn't happen. Only for 4 years I worked, I had the opportunity to work under him. I experienced that. I actually personally also grew a lot. So see that, just extrapolate that to all the 10 million managers, and each of them are at least trained, even half, or at least 20% of them are trained. Imagine the kind of impact that they're going to create to the businesses, in turn to the society. Okay, so definitely there is a big need for having more coaches. This coaching industry as such is one of the fastest growing industries other than the technology as well as the financial markets. So definitely market needs more coaches. The market realizes and perceives the importance of having good coaches, right? And the last point I want to highlight is basically in the job description, if you observe recent years, now most of the managers' job description includes preferably you actually, if you can coach team members, that's a preferred job expectation. Moving forward 5 years down the line, most of the manager job descriptions are going to mandate a coaching certificate for every manager, because going by my example, every lot of people actually said this: a good manager can create a good impact in organizations, right? So at the same way, going to the society part beyond enterprises, a good human being, a good person with a good ambition or a good motive can create a lot of impact. Especially take an example, somebody working with young students, or even college graduates, or early stages in the corporate world. Those are the people who are receptive to a lot of ideas, and those are the people who need real coaching. They already been trained in education. They already acquired some skills, but what they lack is a proper coaching, and then exploring, bringing out their potential. To do that, we need good coaches in the market. Imagine if every young adult is actually groomed well, coached well at the early stages of their lives, and imagine the kind of impact that they're going to create to the society. So this is only possible. I've been trained, I've been mentored, I've been actually went through all types of trainings and whatnot in my career. But the best part, which actually I personally experienced, is coaching for 4 years, which brought a tremendous impact, right? So likewise, every individual can bring out their best potential if they're touched by the right coach at the right time. So to answer the question, Malika, the impact that coaches are going to create is tremendous, that there's a big need. And I'm glad that a lot of people are actually realizing this need and then getting onto this coaching path. Definitely future is going to be different in a more positive way moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicky, for that answer. And I see Madhumita has raised a hand. Madhumita, is there something that you'd like to add?
May I sort of, this was a very interesting point made by, sorry, I've forgotten the name of the person who just made
Venkatesh?
this very interesting point about Venkatesh, right? Yeah. So he made this very interesting point about this demand and supply gap, of there being 10 million managers and only 50,000, I think he said, was certified corporate coaches, if I remember the numbers right. So so this is a very interesting data point. However, he followed it up with another point by saying that 5 years later, some of these managers, it will become mandatory for managers to have a coaches certification, probably. Okay. So now, if I put these 2 points together, the first and the second point, what I'm wondering is that which part of the coaching industry, 2 points together,
Sorry,
what
we
does
lost
it
you,
indicate
Madhumita.
to me? Which
Sorry, Madhumita, can you
if I
repeat?
put these 2 points, together, what does it really indicate to me? Does it really indicate that the coaching certification part of the, the coach training institutes, that business is likely to, thrive more? Because if for every manager, these 10 million managers, which will grow further in the next 5 years, if for every one of these managers a coach certification becomes mandatory, so to me it looks like that the growth is likely to come in the the coach certification training institute business area, because they are the ones who are creating certified coaches, and these managers need certifications. So where is the growth then for these 50,000 certified coaches? If all these managers need a coach certification, so it's the training industry which is likely to grow, correct?
Yeah, yes, I think, Madhumita, yes, thank you for that question. Definitely, yes, there is a huge gap between the demand and supply. That's evident. And at the same time, coaching industry is actually growing at a three-digit CAGR, okay, compared to the rest of the top growing industries. So having said that, it is definitely, there's an direct impact on the coaching training industry, okay? Whether individuals getting trained outside of their organization on their own, or corporates adopting to coaching as a practice within their enterprises. For example, we have, I think, a lot of even Mansi and Malika can actually vouch for that. If, for example, their enterprises, they are the HR, they're leading HR firms, IT firms, they're heading the HR firm in HR function in that. I'm sure there are a lot of push from the top management to have their coaching COE or maybe coaching practice somewhere get started, and then build that so that every employee, every key stakeholder will go through that coaching phase or journey and eventually get certified at the end of the day. So it's both coming from a corporate, majority B2B side of a business is definitely going to grow, corporates giving more business to training institutes. At the same time, individuals getting trained or coached, getting that coaching training, but net, the core impact is on the coaching training institute is going to be tremendous. That is what is a big growth happening. Maybe Mallika or maybe Mansi can add, Raman.
I think just to add, one is the certification. I also think it's very important to have people understand what does it mean to have a coaching mindset. So one is the certification, yes, but I think also what Venkatesh meant was that managers now will have to look at changing their way of managing people and becoming more aware of coaching conversations, how to have a more focused coaching mindset. Also, Madhumita, does that kind of answer your question, Madhumita?
Yeah, so basically what I'm wondering is that where is the demand growth for the individual coaches that are being churned out? So for example, the 50,000 corporate coaches and the 50,000 other coaches, which are non-corporate coaches. Where is the demand for them going to come from, especially the 50,000 corporate coaches? So if all managers are themselves trained coaches, so what happens to these 50,000 corporate coaches? Who do they then coach?
Can I take that question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just imagine what we are talking about is everyone needs a coach. Any adult needs a coach. The market is huge. If people are understanding the power of coaching, the power of transformation, the market is huge. And there are from Coachezzy, there are at least 60% of our students are external coaches who are hired. There are different portals. I mean, there are coach aggregators nowadays, like BetterUp, like Uber hires drivers. Similarly, there are aggregators who are hiring coaches. So, like BetterUp, Modern Health, there are quite a few others, so BetterUp, I think they recently hired 4,000 coaches. And name any organizations, like any of the large organizations, how they are penetrating across different countries, different places. So there are opportunities of getting hired as a coaches through organization if you do not have the business capability yourself. And if you know you can create your business, you can create it, you market it. In fact, if you're an ICF member, ICF supports in building your website, the marketing materials, all this ICW events, everything is to support coaching and the coaches. So there are a lot of work which is happening. So I mean, somebody who's started this journey since 2011, right? I mean, I saw I was within the organization, and I know how much I used to pay the coaches to hire, to the right coaches to hire. Definitely these organizations have brought in the price of coaching because they are doing it in mass scale, but there's huge opportunities. Now, what Venkatesh was talking about, the coaching in the organizations. So there's coaching in organizations. These people are getting trained to be coaching as a coach as a manager, coach as a leader, coaching as a skill in the organization. That is different. Now, professional certification, which is like the ACC, PCC, the credential. So these credentials are a gate-in criteria for getting into any organization. If you do not have the gate-in, if you do not have the credential, they will not be hired. A coach, you can just tomorrow go ahead and say, I am a coach. And then you can have your own. I mean, I know there are so many others also who are doing the same. But, this is the message we often give to the clients, to the rest of the organization, to say that, would you choose a doctor who has not gone through the entire course of training and goes through supervision, mentoring? There is a huge process which students have to go for. Okay. So I think that is the question there. I just want to ask Mallika. Mallika, do you want to take the questions now, or do you want to?
I know Ben has a question, and I
Ben,
see
okay, sure. So
Srinivas
Ben,
has a question. But if
okay.
you can hold on for just another 5 minutes, I had a very interesting question for Raman, and post which we can open it up for your questions. Hope that is okay with everyone. Okay. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Ben. So, Raman, and I know, and thank you to all the participants for being so engaged. Champa. Thank you. So Raman, I had a question for you, and I thought I should not miss out on this question because I'm sure this will be something of interest to all our participants also here. Raman, do you think there are any prerequisites like age, industry knowledge, subject matter expertise, or anything that you think is required to become a successful coach? And I know we are already talking about how we need more coaches, but I thought that question is very relevant to this discussion.
Thank you, Malika, for asking this question. Let me be brief in my answer because we want to address other people's questions. When I stepped into coaching, I saw most of my peers coming from HR background, coaching, training background. I'm basically a finance professional, never worked with people from the HR perspective. I'm also quite a senior, advisor or management personnel, you may call it, compared to most of my other peers. Initially, I had a doubt, it arose in my mind whether it's a good fit for me. However, as I went along, I understood that coaching does not require any prerequisites such as age or domain expertise or qualifications. It requires us to be acutely aware of ourselves, acting like a fly on the wall, And I don't think during any coaching conversation, you bring in domain expertise in any case. Even if you are having domain expertise, as a coach, you're not supposed to, give solutions using your domain expertise. Coach, the client is the boss, He's in the center stage. There are a lot of tools and techniques that are available for a coach. He can deploy it in coaching. Some of them are pure management models. Some of them deal with human mind and behavior. All of us are confused at some time or other how to go this way or that way. So all of us are, as Sharmi put it, all of us are potential clients. Similarly, anybody can acquire the skills of coaching. All that is required is listening skills, patience, and empathy. These are some of the prerequisites for a coach, not a particular qualification or age bracket or subject matter expertise. I hope this clarifies.
Sorry, yes, it does, Raman, and I'm sure it adds in to the discussion. I know I have some questions, so I'm going to ask Srinivas. Ben, I know you have questions. Please.
I think Ben raised his hand. Ben, we missed Ben's this thing. We can take Ben and then Srinivas because he raised the question first. So go ahead, Ben. You can unmute.
Ben, you can unmute and yeah, you can unmute.
I think Ben can go first because first, Malika.
Go ahead, Ben.
Quick context. I'm not an ICC, PCC, or FCC. I'm just pretty new to ICF. But I had my own questions. For example, what is not coaching? It is very clearly mentioned in the ICF. It says you're not a mentor, you're not a consultant. Basically, I'm a recruitment consultant. I've mentored a lot of freshers to mid-levels on careers and stuff. So it's not a mentoring, not a therapist who gives a counseling on anxiety or depression or mental illness. This is very clear to me. But still, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around what exactly the coaching is all about. Though there is a definition, it is a thought-provoking, creative process or co-creating solutions with the client and stuff like that. But I somehow feel like coaching is still in a phase where it's still in the nascent stage, where it is probably out of the sporting arena. The coaching is not something that everybody embraces quickly, except the executive suit. I recently came across $1 trillion, coach, a book on Bill Campbell. So that raises a question like Venkatesh also talked about the organization. So when organizations are pretty hierarchy, right? They follow the hierarchy. So I somehow feel like we are on the top of the pyramid where the coaching is prevalent and accepted. Whereas in the mid-level and then when you percolate down to the bottom level of the pyramid, I don't see there much of the word coaching there. So being a coach, I think, experienced coach like you. So enlighten me. I'm going to step into the coaching thing, but I am just caught between the word coaching and other aspects of mentoring, and because I see like it's all like blending, and it has got its own version also. Overlapping, I would say like few things are overlapping in the coaching arena. Agree? Any thoughts? I know
So,
that's a big.
anyone wants to take that? He's looking for the difference between coaching, mentoring, and other disciplines. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Raman, you want to say something, or
Not as an
can I go?
individual, but as a when if I get an ACC, then we have that obligation to go to the market and clarify how different we are, right? When I have a managed to mentor me, who is an experienced guy who's mentoring us, or let's say Elon Musk as a coach, like Bill Campbell. So how different it is for our lower levels and mid levels, and how they embrace us as a coach. And that is, so we build this as an industry that is going to be like $1 billion or $1 trillion industry.
Okay, can I answer this, Venkatesh? I'll.
Yes, please.
When
Yes,
you
please.
raised a very pertinent question, because it's more or less reflecting my, the position I was in before coming to coaching. The same apprehensions I also had, so I'm able to, understand where you're coming from. I'll just give you a small example, practical example of what happened with my client. I've been consulting and mentoring a fairly big international company which is in the oil industry, and they are used to engaging me as a consultant and mentor and other things, training, a hardcore training. But then when I became a coach, I went and explained to this is how it worked actually. I don't know. I'm not sure whether the same approach will work everywhere, but then more or less this is the approach that can be adopted by coaches as you become a more and more experienced coach. I went and explained to the chairman of the group what coaching is about. As you rightly said, it is in a nascent stage. A lot of people, I'm in the Middle East, it's hardly, people are hardly aware of this. And I see a huge scope because of that. In fact, I'm very optimistic. I don't want to be in a place where everybody is aware of it in a matured market. So I went and test checked. I explained to him about coaching and how it benefits, where it is applicable. It's not going to be applicable in every interaction of mine with the client. And he picked up, they're all sharp people. He picked it up and he said, Raman, I know which situations your skill as a coach will be applicable. So he has, educated the next level directors, and they have educated. And so I'm not the one who's going to sell coaching to the down the line. I will only educate the top guy, and he will do that. Why? Because he understands where it will be helpful. Then he immediately told me, hey, my regional sales and marketing manager is very good in his job, but he's having some mental issues. There are some bottlenecks I see, but I don't know. He's an asset of the company. Can you do the coaching for him? Then he saw the effect of it, and then the word started getting spread in the organization. This is how I think we can bring that to the notice of people. For that, Ben, we should have coaching mindset first.
I want to add, Raman, to what.
Go ahead.
Sure, I think Ben's question, because Ben, you rightly said, because there's one side, there is mentoring, there is consulting, there is a training, lot of aspects. There's the other side, there's coaching, right? For the first set of things, there is certain domain expertise, there are certain methodologies already pretty much well established. Whereas for the coaching, ICF has a defined certain guardrails. What is coaching? What is not? What is a coach can do? What coach cannot do? So you are aware of that. So to come to your question is basically, so there you have your own blend of your own style of coaching. I think maybe Sharmi and others may correct me if I say something wrong. My feeling is basically, as long as you are within the guardrails of ICF or any established global coaching body, you are within the guardrails. You can have your own style. But in my personal opinion, is basically you in your consulting or a mentoring program, you can blend coaching into some of the aspects, whereas in the coaching per se, bringing some consulting into it may not blend. I don't know. Just this is my personal take. Maybe Sharmi can actually say yes or no. Maybe other also can comment.
I think very good point. Yeah. No, thanks. Nothing to add. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank you,
guess,
Raman, Venkatesh. Sorry, Ben, did that
Can-
answer your question?
yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for a right answer. I know it's like kind of overlapping. I see like, for example, like the Guru Sishya relationship. It has evolved today. We have training, we have T&D, we have mentoring, we have executive coaches, business coaches, and stuff. So are we in the kind of an evolution where the humanity has reached where the Guru Sishya thing is like not relevant, but it's in a it's just taking its own avatar in a different form, like mentors, like coach, and that's what I feel. So maybe you
I'll
can
just
add
respond to
something.
that quickly. The Guru Shishya, Guru is here, Shishya is here. In coaching, coach is here and the client is here. We are talking about partnership. We are talking about we are in it together. Anything, big teacher, mentor, guru, everyone is here. And we are not telling we don't need any gurus. We are not telling we don't need teachers, consultants, mentors. Everyone is needed. Coaching is also needed. We are not telling use only coaching. When coaching is needed, do coaching. When you see opportunities for coaching, do coaching. We are not telling that, stop being it. Stop being who you are. If you see there is a need, but during the session, if you do it, then you're not doing justice to it. So you need to be true to what you are doing. That's the whole process. But there are times when training is needed. There are times when mentoring is needed. But there is also a time when you need to understand that person so deeply that you work together and partner towards what you are doing. The difference between all other discipline and coaching is we are partners. We are not here. The coach is not here, not at all. Coach is here so that, we see at the same length, same position where we are doing.
Beautifully put. Sharmi, thank you. And I'm cognizant of the time. And I am very thankful that we have such an engaged audience today. I take Srinivas's question next. Srinivas.
Hey, thanks, Malika. Very privileged to be part of this discussion amongst such a elite gathering. My apologies that I can't switch on my video. The network is a little low. So I have three questions. Might look a little naive, but I am sure that you would have some sort of a guidance. My quick background: for 22 years, I was a naval officer. I retired, and I am a corporate. This thing. I've been with Cognizant and now with Credit Suisse. So that's my quick background. What I wanted to ask is, after this time that I've spent with Navy and also with corporate, there is a very innate sense that I have to give back as a purpose to connect, help my experience, time that I've spent in various fields, maybe as a storytelling, as a method of connecting with various groups of people, whether somebody who's at college level, somebody who's maybe at different levels where it would help them understand themselves and how my experience can help them. So that was what I was looking for. So during this period, my initial connect happened to be with the organization called Success Gyan. I've done some trainings with them. It's been very helpful. I've seen the difference that has come into me because, especially with respect to how you handle your emotions, what is moves from what is called you from being a reactive person to you respond to situations to now you have got a calibrated response. So I could see the difference coming. And I've seen that most of these places, there were multiple coaches, but and the scope and the swath, how much it is growing, was also evident. Now, I do not understand coaching field too much, but I've been benefactor of that. And I don't know how that places Success Gan places with ICF or its parallel organization. But what I saw there was one to many. Here I see it is one to one. With that, my questions, I break it up into three. First, in my journey, what I'm looking for as to can I help somebody, model myself to go through the purpose of me helping out, impacting people. Is coaching the right path for me? Second, my question is, what is the modus, how you go? Because I've seen some part of it in Success Gyan. People started courses and then became coaches. Is that or any how this industry works? And these are the two main questions. I will stop it here. There, otherwise, there are a lot of it's a time constraints are there. Thank you.
Who wants to take it? Malika?
Yeah, so I know, Shini, your first question was more um, about whether this is the right thing for you, right? Whether coaching is the right thing for you. As a coach, I would say that that question is something for you to answer, and we could have a coaching conversation for you to discover whether coaching is the right choice. But that answer is completely with you. We can explain to you what coaching is, but whether you would like to pursue coaching is something more for you to decide once you know what coaching is all about. Because again, like we have been discussing, right? Coaching is where the coach is not the subject matter expert. We believe in the mindset, it's forward looking, and we believe that all answers lie with the client. So whether coaching is the right decision for you is something that ideally you would have to take that question for yourself. We can have a coaching conversation to decide. I'm requesting my fellow panelists to add in, but that is the first thought that comes to my mind.
And also, Malika, I think just one more
Yes.
point to add is basically depends on what Srinivas is going to address, whom he's going to impact. So it depends on that. What is the objective? Then that actually defines whether coaching is the right path to address as an instrument or a tool to achieve that, or maybe some other mentoring or maybe other. So I think you rightly said, maybe you can have it warrants one coaching conversation between you and Srinivas. Maybe end of that, maybe you guys can figure it out.
But I heard Srinivas mention that he wants to give it back to the community. Am I right, Srinivas?
That's true. That's true. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
I would say I would encourage you to take up coaching because more often than not, personal coaching, life coaching is very much required in this kind of society that we are in. And if you want to give it back to the society, give it back to the community, this is a fantastic avenue available for you.
Thank you,
And
Raman. I think,
I'll just,
Malika, yeah, please.
sorry. Yeah, I'll just add on a little bit here. Srinivas, I heard you talking because maybe that was a question from you, that you felt coaching is restricted to one-on-one. But I just wanted to bring up the other dimension, that there is also a concept of team coaching where it can be one to many. So depending on which is the end audience you would like to impact and what impact you would like to bring in, depending on that, you can choose between one-on-one or a team coaching. So just wanted to add on to my
Yeah.
fellow
One-on-one team
panelists.
and group coaching. There is
Group
also
coaching
something
as
which
well.
is called the group
Yes.
coaching. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think in a short span, you have very nicely put across and clarified a lot of my thoughts. And I will definitely take up this offer of a quick conversation with Malika to understand what do I see further. Just to add that with my experience, I've done a lot of mentoring in terms of but it was a very structured mentoring. It was more of a instructor training sort of thing. But this seems to be a very different field, and I'm hopeful once I connect and I'll get my further answers, and hope to definitely be a part of this great community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think Uma had raised her hand, but
I know Uma had raised her hand. Uma is still here. Uma, I know we are on top of the hour, but we still have some time. Uma, would you like to go ahead with that question?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. And I really thank Shurmi for asking me to join this session. And it was really, really helpful for me to take a decision. And I'm in the process though. In that regard, I'm a little curious to know from the esteemed guests here that before you took on to your certifications or your trainings, what was that tipping point which made you take a decision of, yes, I need to take up some course or, take this certification. If you find fit to answer, then I would be really looking forward to understand, and that would definitely help me to firm up my thoughts. Thank you.
who wants to take it? Anyone wants to take the question? So I'm just trying to understand, Uma, your question is basically to understand how do I take a decision whether I can become a coach?
Yeah, so precisely. So the participant, the panel members here, what had been in their journey of becoming a coach, there might have been a point where they had to take this call. So I'm keen to understand what was that tipping moment, tipping point, that made them took this call.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think
Thank
this,
you.
I can answer for myself, as I was mentioning it in a way that I was doing consulting quite a lot and was enjoying that. But a lot of times I felt there was a gap, in what I was contributing finally and what was the requirement. So when I came across this coaching, curriculum in a very structured manner, and I felt, oh, this is the thing. This is something which will help me to enhance my contribution to the clients, to whom I'm already doing other kinds of training and mentoring. So that was the tipping point when I heard about it.
Thank you. Uma,
I'll
I
share
can.
my personal.
Sorry,
Malika.
Mansi, go ahead. Just quickly to add, Uma, for me, my trigger was when I first experienced coaching and I realized the power of reflections. And I decided that this is something that I want to do for myself and I really want to also support others with this. So for me, my trigger was when I experienced coaching and I realized how powerful it can be. Sorry, Mansi.
I'll share my experience and my trigger, very much aligned to what Srinivas was bringing in, because I felt the need after being in corporate life for so long. I had that inner passion to give back. One of the areas which, and maybe because again, my daughter, I saw the struggle with her. Not maybe my daughter didn't have that struggle much, but I saw it amongst her peer group. When they have to decide on their career path, uh, at times I find, their parents imposing certain things on them. There I felt that, what a great, benefit it can be for society if we have more coaches who could be career coaches in the true sense to help these teenagers explore their own path. That was one calling. And the second thing, it was very personal to me. I wanted to become a better people manager and contribute better for my team. So for me, these were two great callings.
Thank you. Uma, hope that answers your question.
Mansi, to the question, where is the tipping point? I think
Venkatesh.
so. There's some lag, and are you able to hear me?
We can hear you now. There's a bit of a
Okay.
lag,
So I
Venkatesh.
just
but you
was
can-
adding to the point. Can I? Yeah. Okay. Is it better now?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I think Venkatesh
Okay.
is experiencing
I think there's some lag. I think I don't want to. Sure, sure. Go ahead. I don't want to be that spoiler. Okay, you guys go ahead.
You can message.
You can put it in the chat, Venkatesh. You can add your thoughts to the chat. Or yes, thank you for that, Ben. Or you can stop your video. That can just save some bandwidth.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Ben, for that quick
Yeah, I
fix.
think yes.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Venkatesh.
some technical challenge. So I was just sharing what my tipping point was during COVID. I started reflecting about my career, how it has been, and what I've done so far. A lot of time during COVID, and then that 4 years period was what really struck me. And then this is the period actually really I did very well. And then I wrote to my manager, that then manager, what was this one thing that you're doing differently? I want to talk to you. I never had the chance. I really want to understand. Then he said, just think through what I was doing. Can you just recollect, and what did you find common what I was doing to everybody? Then I started. He gave me kind of exercise. I took some 2 days to put down the points, but net whatever the summary is, he never used to instruct. He never always used to empower people, saying that whatever you go with an idea, the one or two ideas, he used to actually encourage and then ask everybody to run the business as a CEO for their own chunk of business, right? He never used to involve, and he never used to guide, never used to prescribe. Then I said, is it the one which you did it? Then he said, yes, I was giving you guys a space. I was creating a space around every manager so that you guys can explore and play around, because I'm there on top of you to give the air cover, but I allowed you to play within your space. I was giving you the space. That's where you guys actually came out. You owned that operation. So that's exactly what a coach typically does. Then I asked him, how do I mimic that? How do I get there? Then he then pointed me, there's something called coaching. Then you need to get formally certified. Then go through that. You'll understand better. You'll be a different person. So that actually made me to start looking at ICF website and then approaching the Sharmi and all the stuff taking place.
Thank you. Thank you so much to share your thoughts. And it's really helped me to, I'm sure I will also join the bandwagon soon.
Best of luck. And like we said, we need more coaches.
Thank you, Mallika.
Okay, do we have any other questions? I am again very thankful to all the participants. Thank you for being so engaged and asking those questions. Any other last thoughts from my panelists before we can close the session today?
Malika, I have a question.
Yes, please.
We have time. Ben, yeah.
Hi, Ben. Go ahead, Ben.
So generally, since I'm not into I don't have any experience of coaching or ICFA. So when you pick up a client, so you pick up the client or client picks you up. So however it is, so how do you really get to learn each other? So is it like a husband and wife relationship, or a mom and son relationship, or trying to wrap my mind around how the selection process happens and how the synergy happens between the coach, how you guys build the trust. I know trust in the sense like it takes time in any relationship. So how this relationship works in general.
So we do have some chemistry calls initially, then wherein you really get to know each other. Like you rightly said, the trust, of course, builds over time. But you do define the environment in which you will be conducting these sessions, and you also try to understand each other and what are the expectations. You set the expectations. It takes some time, of course, to eventually be able to build that relationship. But yes, initial few sessions is when you really have, you call it the chemistry sessions, when you really get to know each other. Does that answer, Ben, your question?
Yes. And I mean, somebody just, I think you brought up this challenge question, community question. So in the challenge question, I think Manasi, I think she brought up this unlearning word. It's a very crucial word for me in the life also. So what really happens is we need to unlearn a lot of things. We need to uninstall a lot of the programs that have been installed without our permission, right from our childhood and early ages. So we come with different mindset when we come here. So what would be the best advice for a wannabe coach? Or I'm still, on the, kind of, I've not decided, but I'm just asking you, what would be the top 3 unlearning tips coaches like you would give me for the beginner like me?
For
Because
me,
unlearning is quite a task, a lot of work, a lot of hard work.
Maybe I
see,
take that.
go ahead, Mansi. Yeah.
When it comes to unlearning, Ben, I won't say these are tips because each of us are very different individuals. And as you very rightly said, um, how has our journey been till today makes us the person we are. So for everyone, it will work very differently. And that's where, when I was talking, brought also another word about self-coaching. Because before being a coach for others, we need to be on that journey to be a coach for ourselves. And that will give you those answers that which are the areas you need to unlearn. What are the biases that you carry? What are your own blind spots? You first need to be building that growth mindset, find your true potential, find your own passion, find your flow. And that's when you start developing yourself as a coach and you start building the coaching mindset. So for every person, there is no standard tips and tricks. Uh, it is through self-coaching that you start realizing those areas and you start unlearning and relearning and refining yourself as a person.
Thank you, Mansi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manimala.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay.
If we still have time, I can bump more questions.
Madhumita has raised her hand, but do we have time? Because I'm just wondering.
Yeah, we are on top of the hour. I know what we can also do is we will share with you our contact details, and it would be great if you could send us your questions. We'd love to get into conversations with you. Thank you, Venkatesh, for sharing that. There you go. Feel free to mail us. We'll be happy to connect back. But yeah, given that we are on top of the hour, I'm gonna just thank everyone. Again, thank you for being such engaging participants today. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you, Sharmi, for being our mentor. I'm sure all of us, including us as panelists, we are taking something from this discussion today. So thank you. Hoping you have a good rest of the day, rest of the evening ahead. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
One poll will be there, which should show in the screen. Is it showing? Just give a minute. Yeah. Launch. Just see if there's a poll.
Yes.
I see. I mean, I think I just saw a chat, this thing of Madhumita, if the question on group and the team, uh, you know,
Yeah,
we
Manimala
are
has
near,
asked that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
we are nearing to the end, but if you want, I just can, in 2 minutes, just explain that. So group coaching is basically one-to-many. There are, up to 10 to 12 people. It can be interactive, but coaching process is used. And in team coaching is a multiple thing. So it includes group coaching, one-on-one coaching, consulting, a lot of things, wherein you go as a consultant, but you do it as a team coaching. You can actually partner with a facilitator and all that. So team coaching has also been launched as a certification program in ICF. Group coaching is yet to be done like that. So in brief, that is the key difference between group coaching and team coaching.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharma.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We've had a great discussion.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.